That you will put on a book of dishonor, but even the people that
book of that's the only thing they can do.
Even the sons, the awardees, because they say that technically they're already sons. They're just going to be inducted
ceremoniously.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they have to be given
a ceremony.
Kind of
they also complained that their gowns and wigs and what have you from England are yet to arrive, and the date. Yeah, it was part of their complaint, and it seems like a valid one. They will now have to write to the company in England, which does all of that for them, to try and hurry it, and in those kind of instances it might be a bit difficult.
Yeah, but as a body of lawyers, as a body of professional association, I think MBA mooting that idea is a very good one, because that's the only way you can protest, not only just against what is happening between Salami and CJN, but because these people have violated due process and all those things. After all, they're all members of the bar. Whether you are in the bench or not, they came from the bar to the bench and all those things. And yes, it's good if people say, okay, do your thing your own way. We are not going to come. It takes off the shine. That's exactly the only thing we can achieve.
But they say that no one should attend.
No, but they didn't say what will happen if you attend.
They did.
They put in a book of dishonor.
Yes.
Some people wouldn't care. After all, there's been times the NBA has said you don't have to attend this court during the military era. Ghani went and all those things.
All those kind of orders or talks or developments in the judiciary that, some of them have been swept under the carpet. Remember the swearing in of the present CJN. Let's go back then. You remember there was this brouhaha about you swearing in someone when you're at the expiration of your tenure, and they say it expires at midnight, and just before then we saw him being sworn in. So the likelihood of us seeing that again, which is 26th, 26th should be Friday, and if he retires 26th, well, shouldn't we by now be thinking of who the next CGN should be?
No, they already know who the next CGN should be. I think they have already recommended to the Senate.
Good.
Yes, Mustafa, who is the next in line.
No, we already know. We got that during the week. We had all of that. But again, we're talking about the swearing-ins proper. There's no date fixed for all of that, so that we don't get into that kind of fix which we got into at the time Katsina was coming in.
Yeah, now we have a substantive president. So when the Senate finishes their screening, then the substantive president, Jonathan, will swear him in. You know what happened then was because
of the inacting capacity.
Yes, they wouldn't allow Jonathan function as an acting president and all those things. And that was during the rough reign of Andoaka. So they had to do that. It was a constitutional issue, Some people even tried to go to court and all those things. But once the act has been done, the act has been done. And that's exactly what I'm concerned about this Salami issue. He was asking for some injunctive reliefs and all those things. And the law is simple, Most times, the courts do not grant an injunction to stop a completed act. Okay, unless we are saying that the act has not been completed because he is suspended and not removed. But if you look at it, technically suspension is removal, because he can't function in that office until the substantive matter is decided. And in this is new matter, he's also asking, apart from setting aside the order, that the court should make an order to restore him to status quo antebellum.
Wow.
That is a lot of issues.
But when the president you said he contradicted himself, but to some extent it shows that this decision is not cast in stone. He could change his.
No, he's not going to change it.
He's not going to change it.
He's not going to change it.
Why do you say so?
Yeah, why I say so is because it was a well thought out decision. After all, there's no person to deceive there. You said this man, you are appointing Adamu as the acting PCA, pending the resolution of issues over Salami's matter. And now are you saying you are coming tomorrow and say, okay, these issues has not been resolved, but you just give a political and executive fiat and say, restore him back to office.
What if the NJC tomorrow, if the current one leaves, a new CJN comes in and says, well, all right, I think we should rescind this, and they go ahead with it? It changes, doesn't it?
Not
recommend to the president.
Yes, not Jonathan. Yes, Mustafa could decide to save the whole situation. But
so do you think we should have been crying out as well, or we should say, okay, well, it's still redeemable?
Yeah, but Mustafa, is an active participant in this whole thing, because they said it was in his presence that CJN asked me to do this, and he gave testimony in this issues. You know.
That's a very, but how would you say, you know, it's a very dicey question I'm about to ask, but all the same, I'll ask it. Some people have said the judges have moved from the golden age. Do you think that somehow they have brought all of this upon the judiciary? That's making generalizations now. Some people say gone were the times when we don't see judges at parties, we don't see them, you know, at functions. It seems now we see them dancing even on the pages
even in nightclubs and all that. They're women. They're
do you have a problem with that?
No, they're human beings, you know. There are places, in fact, there are positions you hold that for reasons like, if you're a judge and I see you in Mr. XYZ naming ceremonies, but my matter is before you, it's enough for me to bring the issue of bias. It doesn't really mean that you are biased, but I can say, these two people are friends and this man is there. So there, most times, you know, in the past, you hardly see them. It's not as they can go to sports club, play squash and all those things, you know. We're talking about, you know, every social function, Miss Nigerian beauty pageant, you know, all kind of social functions. You attend it. And these judges at times, I think, you know, NBA has been also clamoring, you know, about the kind of people that appoint, you know, into the judiciary, and they are saying you don't have to, you can extend, you know, your dragnet, you know, into the schools. There are professors there who you could bring in and all those things. Another thing is about training. You know, some of this kind of attitude to get rich quick, a lot of patronage, because I'm saying, why should the SGF, before we used to have Judicial Service Committee, who is in charge of, you know, appointment and screening and recommendation, why should all these things, you know, be now handled by one single person? You know, if you look at the constitution, he's not only the Chief Justice of Nigeria, he's also the chairman of NJC, he's also the chairman of Federal Judicial Service and all those things.
Wow. But do you think anything will change? Because someone says here, Bola says, nothing has changed and nothing will change. One of the tweets coming through. Do you think any of this will just, with time, it will just go the way it has gone?
Yeah, it will just go the way it's gone, because that's the Nigerian way of doing things. Except somebody goes for prison for certain conducts, people will begin to sit up.